Hello everyone, welcome back to Brain Tech Skill. Before we create a virtual machine in Azure, we need to build the platform where it will run, just like setting the foundation before building a house. Okay, so in this session, I will walk you through all important components you need before launching an Azure virtual machine. If you haven't watched my previous videos, I recommended watching them first to get comfortable with the basics. Then you can come here and watch the latest video. Okay, so let's get started on this new session. On our new session, we are going to see what are the basic components before we create a virtual machine in Azure. Okay, so on my previous video, we have checked what is the resource group, right? So resource group is a logical container that holds related Azure resources, and it's very easy to manage, monitor, and delete everything together. Okay, inside the resource group, right? So on our previous session, we have created resource groups under the subscription. Okay, now when we talk about the other components, so here you can see first we need to create a basic services on the Azure to log in into the virtual machine. So for that, we need to create first virtual network. Okay. So virtual network is like that. It's your own private network in Azure. Okay. And it's allow your virtual machine to communicate securely with the other resources. It allows your communication between your on premises to Azure or from the external sources to the your virtual machine. Okay, so that's why we have created the virtual network before we create the virtual machine. Okay, on that we need to create a subnet. So obviously we need a IP address, right? So where we get under the subnet, we can get a IP address. So that's why we need to create a subnet as well. And the subnet it's divides your virtual network into smaller parts, right? Each subnet can hold specific type of resources, and it helps in organizing and securing resources better, right? Then we need to create a network security group, which is NSG, to secure your communication between virtual machine to virtual machine. Then it's secure connectivity between your external sources. Yeah, for external communication between your virtual machine. Okay, so the network security group it's act like as a firewall for your subnet or your virtual machine, and it's defined inbound and outbound rules. So on accordingly on your rules, the communication will flow within the VM, outside the VM. Okay, and obviously if we need to create a public IP, or if we want to expose this VM externally, then we need to create a public IP on that VM, and it's allow external communication within this VM. Okay, and obviously network interface. When we create a virtual machine, the virtual machine will give us the new IP address, and the IP address is associated inside the network interface card. Okay, so let's go the practical scenario where I will show you how to create the basic prerequisite services. Okay. Then on our last session, you can see I have created a resource group. Okay. Under the subscription. So let me create a new resource group again on my existing subscription. Okay. So here I can choose my existing subscription and I can create my new resource group, which I can say IT dev debt, or you can say we can we can create a different name as well. Okay, so as of now I can put IT dev department because IT is like department and dev is like development. Okay, so that's why I'm giving this virtual resource group name. And region, it is same, it's central India, because for me the central India is very nearest region for me. Okay, then if you want to add tags, then you can add tags. Last time we have created a tag using department name. Okay, and you can select the IT. Okay, then review plus create. Here it will validate the variables, then it will create a resource. So let's create the resource, which is our new resource group. Okay, let's refresh it. Okay, let me refresh it again. Okay, so our new resource group has been created. You can see IT dev debt. Under this resource group, we are going to create our basic prerequisite services. Okay, so what we checked, we need to create first virtual network. Okay, then let's create the virtual network. On the search bar, here you can type virtual network, which is VNet. Okay, so as I told you, it's your own private network within the Azure. Okay, that we can create here. Okay, so create the virtual network. Then in the basic overview, you can see and you can add your details. Like in the first subscription, I have selected subscription one. Resource group, I have select IT dev debt, which I have created recently. Okay, then virtual network name, I can give new virtual machine name like same like IT dev debt hyphen VNet. Okay, it's a new VNet for the this department. Okay, and region same. Okay, and next on the security services, I can choose any kind of services, but for now it's a default setting which I can set. Okay, then next. Okay, then you can see the IP addresses ranges and their subnet. Okay, so here you can see a subnet range. It will give us and the uh, IP address range which is associated with the virtual network. Okay, so for this virtual network, it will be a 10.0.0.0/16 IP address range, and for this subnet, it will create this range. Okay, so let's create and tag. Again, you can give a tag to identify the your virtual network using the tag. Okay. Then click on review plus create. It will validate our services. Then it will create a virtual network. Okay. On this virtual network, which I told you, it's allow your communication securely with other resources. Okay. And it's your private network in Azure. And we have create the virtual network. So if you can see the validation has been passed. So you can review your uh, components before creating the virtual network. Okay. I can verify my names, subscription, resource group, name, region, security. I have disabled as of now. IP address, this one, subnet, default. As of now, it is creating a default subnet for me. Tags I can add it and then click on create. So my new virtual network is creating under the same resource group. Okay. On my previous video, I told you, right? We can create a multiple Azure resources under resource group. And under subscription, we can create a multiple create resource group. Okay. So our new virtual network is creating. So this is the deployment process where we can see the deployment. Okay, deployment has been success. So still it is showing is in progress. So let's wait for a few seconds. It will create a virtual network. Okay, see our new virtual network has been created. Then let's go to the resource. So here you can see the default variables which have given on the creation tab. You can see the address space 10.0.0/16. Okay. Then location Central India, subscription. Here you can see subscription ID. Whenever create a new resource in Azure, in the overview tab, you can see the basic details. Okay. You can verify your resources details from here. Okay. What are the resource group, location, subscription ID, address space. Okay. Then next about the subnet. While we create the virtual network, it is creating default subnet for me. Okay. You can create a more subnet if you want. Okay. So like now organization follows a standard process. Like if in the department is having uh, two more sub department, okay, or sub applications or sub databases, then we can create the subnet like this way. Like I can create a new subnet for my application server. I can create a new subnet for my database server. Okay. So accordingly, you can divide the subnets within the virtual network. Okay. If you want to create a new subnet, then just create subnet. Okay. You can choose a purpose. Okay. Then you can add your name, subnet. Then you can add the range, right? Starting IP, size, what will be the size? Okay, correct. Here you can give the name, like if I want to create a new subnet for my application servers, right? Then you can create. If you want to create a new subnet for your database servers, then you can create the new subnet. accordingly. Okay. So as of now, I can put a default subnet, right? Then we have created virtual network. We have created subnet, right? Uh, then let's create the energy. Okay. If we go to the virtual network, okay, this is my virtual network. Okay. Network security group. Okay. So you can create a new security group while creating your virtual machine, but I can create a before that. So let's create the network security group. And as I told you, it's like a firewall for your subnet, right? And we can define inbound and outbound rules to allow the ports, right? So in the subscription, we can select our subscription resource group. I can select a same resource group, okay, which is IT dev depth name. I can give the name IT dev depth NSG. Okay. So on the last, we should give the service name. Okay. Accordingly, we can identify the resource. Region, it is Central India. Next, tags, you can give same tag as we created earlier. Okay. Name, IT department. Okay. Then review plus create. So again, it is validating, and then it will create a new network security group energy for us. Then create. So it will take bit time to create the new energy for us. Okay. So we have checked how to create resource group. We have checked how to create the virtual network, then how to create subnet. Okay. Recently we have created the energy. Okay. And about the public IP and network interface, while we create the new virtual machine, it will automatically create a new IP address under this network interface card. Okay. Later on, we can decide whether we need a public IP or not. Okay. So let's check what is the status. So deployment details. So deployment is ready. Our new energy is created. Okay. So you can see it is creating inbound security rules and outbound security rules to allow incoming and outgoing traffic within the virtual network. Okay. So later on, we can add this energy to my newly created VM. Okay. Or else you can add this network security group directly into your subnet. So let's associate this energy into our new subnet. Okay. Associate virtual network IT dev depth VNet. And what is the subnet? Default subnet. Okay. When we associate this energy to the subnet, in this way, it has been integrated with the existing subnet. So let's, if you go to network security group in this subnet, you can see the subnet name. Okay, where we can verify. Let's go to virtual network, then go to the subnet. Here you can see the new energy has been associated. Okay, for the entire subnet. Okay, now when we talk about the other components like public IP, then like uh, network interface card, So we can create those services later, okay, when we create the new virtual machine. So now that we have set up the base and our network platform has been created, and we are ready to create the virtual machine in the next session. So on our next session, we are going to create a virtual machine under the same resource group, under the same virtual network, and we can use this subnet to create the new virtual machine. Okay, that's it for today's session. We explored the basic like virtual network, subnet, energy, and other essential components needed before creating an Azure virtual machine. I hope this video help you to understand these concepts clearly. If you still have any questions, feel free to ask in the comment below. I will happy to help you. Also, if you haven't watched my previous videos yet, do check them out. Each session is connected and will give you a better understanding of the Azure platform. If you found this helpful, please give it a like, share it within your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to Brain Tech Skills for more such content. Then see you in the next session where we will dive into creating a virtual machine in Azure practically and step by step. Until then, stay connect and keep learning with the Brain Tech Skills. Thank you. Bye bye.